A local organization is helping dress the next generation of Americans, one suit at a time. Their goal, provide professional attire for new citizens to wear during their naturalization ceremonies and beyond.
Western Mass News reporter David Germain has the story of how this campaign is kicking off right here in the city of Firsts.
Look at Ralph Lauren, another American hero when it comes to the fashion world.
Inside Up Springfield, the racks are full of more than just fabric and thread. They're full of potential. The nonprofit is partnering with Buffalo-based St. Brian Clothers and the King Urban Life Center, an organization driven to improve the lives of people in their community. Together, they are launching America 250, United Suits of America, a national suit giveaway campaign.
We are working with them and giving them over 300 suits to start off their promotion. This is a good way to support America 250.
Suit Up Springfield will be the Massachusetts representative of the campaign, which is working to provide 50 suits to 50 new Americans in each state, a total of 2,500 suits. The suits collected during the campaign, which launched on July 4th, will go to people for nationalization ceremonies, as well as students looking for suits for prom, and military veterans and frontline workers.
We use a lot of analogies to describe suits, and sometimes it's camouflage, sometimes it's armor, right? And so once we put that armor on, they feel prepared. They feel ready to take on whatever, war is waiting for them outside.
DeWitt Lee is founder of St. Brian Clothers in Buffalo. He started the nonprofit as a way to help his community heal after the tragic Tops supermarket shooting in 2022. For Lee, starting in Massachusetts, what he calls the birthplace of American democracy, was intentional. He wants every new citizen to feel respected as they take their oath of allegiance.
Celebrating life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And as we, discuss this Declaration of Independence, that's a very important tagline that we are focusing this campaign on, those who are in pursuit of happiness, life, and liberty here in America.
The organizers say this is just the beginning. They hope to find partners in every state to ensure that every new American has the chance to dress for the dream that they've worked so hard to achieve. To learn how you can help, visit our website at westernmassnews.com. Reporting in Springfield, David Germain, Western Mass News.